Mice are adorable, right? But let's be real. How many of us actually get to experience the magic of having a sweet, pocket-sized rodent as a best friend? Now, when you first see a guy named Eric Bell walking down the street, you might be a bit intimidated by his appearance. Tall, muscled, and covered in tattoos, Eric doesn't strike you as the type of guy who would save the life of a tiny hapless critter, or does he? Stay tuned for today's video on Animals Need Love, and don't miss out on Molly's incredible journey. It all started one crisp morning outside his salon when Eric's routine was unexpectedly interrupted. He stepped out to unlock the door, his mind on the busy day ahead, when he saw something so small and fragile that it immediately caught his attention. A baby mouse. She was barely a speck, no bigger than a pinky, lying on the pavement in the early morning light. Her tiny body was trembling, and her eyes were still shut, as though she hadn't even opened them yet. She was struggling to breathe, her frail little form fighting for life on the cold, hard street. Eric looked around, hoping to spot the comforting presence of a mother or other mice nearby, but there was nothing. Just the tiny, helpless creature alone in the world. I didn't see any signs of Mother Mouse. It really broke my heart. Molly Bean, as Eric would later come to call her, had no chance of survival without help. The first instinct that kicked in was to pick her up, and that's exactly what Eric did. He scooped her up gently in his large hands and cradled her close to his chest. From that moment, Molly's fate was sealed. Eric, for all his tough exterior, had a heart big enough to save the tiniest, most vulnerable of lives. Little did he know, he was about to embark on the most unexpected and transformative journey of his life. At first, Eric wasn't even sure how to care for a baby mouse. I thought, I don't know what to do with this thing. I've never, ever been around mouse before. He'd never had a pet mouse before. Heck, he hadn't had much experience with small animals in general. But he wasn't about to let Molly slip through his fingers, so he got to work, researching everything he could about baby mice. What did they eat? How often did they need food? Could she even survive on her own? It was clear that Molly was only days old. She had no fur to speak of, just the soft, pink skin of a newborn, and her little eyes were still closed. Eric learned quickly that he would need to feed her a special formula every 2 to 3 hours. This meant waking up in the middle of the night, often sleep-deprived, but he didn't mind. Each time he woke up to check on her, he worried that he might find her lifeless, but she kept going, kept fighting. Over the next few days, Eric found himself growing more attached to the tiny creature in his care. Every nap she took, she curled up in the warmth of his hands or nestled under his beard, where she felt safe. She'd fall asleep to the sound of his heartbeat, which in a way seemed to reassure her that she was loved, that she was safe. And as each day passed, she grew stronger, her fur starting to fill in, her little body growing more resilient. Come on. And sure enough, she's still crawling around. Her little personality started shining. By the time Molly was a few weeks old, she was no longer the fragile little thing Eric had found on the street. She was starting to show signs of personality, curious, playful, and full of energy. It didn't take long before she was climbing up Eric's arm, darting up his shirt, and sneaking into his pockets. She had a mind of her own and was determined to explore the world around her. Eric's tough guy exterior began to soften around his little mouse. She became his constant companion, always at his side, whether he was working at the salon or relaxing at home. Molly Bean had a way of making everything better. When she was younger, she would curl up and nap with Eric while he worked, but as she grew, she developed a knack for finding the funniest spots to hide and making everyone laugh. She was no longer just a tiny, helpless mouse. She was a living, breathing source of joy. She's a little comedian. She's really funny. It's cool to be around her. In fact, she was so full of personality that Eric jokingly started calling her his little princess. One day, just for fun, he put a tiny tutu on her, because why not? She looked adorable, and from then on, the nickname stuck. Molly wasn't just a mouse, she was his royal companion. Eric soon realized that Molly wasn't the only one who needed companionship. Mice are social creatures, and though she was getting stronger and more independent, it seemed like she'd benefit from having another mouse friend. So he did what any good pet parent would do. He adopted a second mouse, a little female named Daisy. The two mice immediately bonded, playing hide and seek and curling up together for naps. Eric couldn't help but smile as he watched the two of them interact. They were inseparable, and though Molly was still his number one companion, Daisy added an extra layer of fun to their already quirky little family. Eric soon realized that Molly wasn't the only one who needed companionship. Mice are social creatures, and though she was getting stronger and more independent, it seemed like she'd benefit from having another mouse friend. So he did what any good pet parent would do. He adopted a second mouse, a little female named Daisy. The two mice immediately bonded, playing hide and seek and curling up together for naps. Eric couldn't help but smile as he watched the two of them interact. They were inseparable, and though Molly was still his number one companion, Daisy added an extra layer of fun to their already quirky little family. By now, Molly had truly settled into her new life with Eric. As a little mouse, she'd always been by his side, sleeping in his beard, riding on his shoulder, or snuggling in his pockets. But as she got older and more confident, Eric let her spend more time at his salon, where she became a beloved mascot for his clients. She wasn't just a cute pocket-sized creature, she was an entertainer. She would dart around the salon, climbing on the furniture, hiding in the corners, and charming anyone who came in. Molly didn't just bring joy to Eric's life, she brought it to everyone she met. Most of his clients were surprised at how comfortable she was around them, and how little she seemed to mind being the center of attention. Pretty much all of my clients are very open to her, and she loves to be around them and just loves to play for a wild mouse. I was really surprised about that. And if you thought Molly couldn't get any more amusing, you'd be wrong. As she matured, she became more daring. She would climb up Eric's arm with lightning speed, dive into his shirt, and even hop onto his head if she felt like it. It was clear that Molly saw Eric as her safe place, and she was fiercely loyal to him. Molly's teenage years were full of mischief. Her energy seemed endless, and every night she and Daisy would go on what Eric called their nighttime parties, running around, playing, and making as much noise as they could. Eric, though often exhausted from the chaos, couldn't help but laugh. He'd never expected a tiny mouse to bring such joy and laughter into his life. One evening, he introduced Molly to his other pet, Foster, a calm, older rat that he'd rescued years ago. Foster was a gentle soul, and though he was used to the company of dogs and other animals, he immediately accepted Molly with grace. Molly, of course, was thrilled to have a new playmate. When you rescue an animal, you never quite know how it's going to change your life. But for Eric, rescuing Molly was nothing short of transformative. He'd never expected that this tiny mouse, who had once been nothing more than a helpless little speck, would become such an important part of his life. She had taught him lessons about love, responsibility, and patience, lessons he'd never expected from a creature so small. In Molly's eyes, Eric was her everything. She had imprinted on him in those early, vulnerable days, and in return, he became her protector, her playmate, and her best friend. And when Eric looked down at her now, all grown up and full of energy, he could hardly believe how far she'd come. Molly has taught me that if a little mouse is worthy of something so special, then we as humans absolutely are. I think we miss a lot of that in our world today and need to get back to that love, love for everybody and everything. When I looked down at her and saw that she was just so helpless at that moment, she wasn't a pest. She stole my heart. She deserved that chance. And that is the end of the story today. Have you ever had a mouse as a pet? Or maybe an unlikely animal companion that surprised you with how close you became? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your stories. Thank you so much for sticking with us all the way to the end. If you enjoyed Molly's heartwarming journey, please give this video a big thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to turn on the bell and subscribe to our channel Animals Need Love so you never miss any of our new videos. Thank you for your support. Wishing you all peace, happiness, and a little bit of extra love today. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.